The music industry is always changing and growing to bigger heights. Some artists have gone down as one of history's greats, and the number of their sales proved that just right. So, in this video, we'll be listing down the top 10 best-selling artists of all time. Do make sure to stay tuned until the end of the video to learn all about them. First up at number 10, the voice of Titanic, Celine Dion. Just remember that number of unit sales change every week or so. This ranking is based on certified record sales of singles and albums in markets that release these official certification numbers. Without further ado, Celine Dion is one of the most popular names in pop music. With hit songs like My Heart Will Go On and It's All Coming Back to Me Now, the artist has sold around 175 million units. Get used to the word around because these numbers are hardly ever accurate. Also, if you don't know what sold units mean, it's basically a measuring system used in the music industry. 1 unit is equivalent to 1 album sale, 10 track sales, or 1,500 streams on a platform. Miss Dion definitely doesn't have a problem with streams, since her best-selling single, My Heart Will Go On, has over 400 million streams on Spotify. Her best-selling album is her 4th English-language studio album called Falling Into You, which was released in 1996. Though she was at her prime in the late 80s to 90s, the French artist still has big fans to this day. Up next at number 9, the face of the holidays. Face it, there's no Christmas spirit without a particular song playing every other day. Whether you're out shopping for presents or going for a drive, Mariah Carey's best-selling single, All I Want for Christmas Is You, will be on repeat everywhere and every time. With around 202 million units sold, the 90s icon lands her a spot at number 9 on our list. She may be a little inactive in the music scene, but her Twitter is full of fun content for fans to enjoy. Besides, her 1993 album, Music Box, being her best-selling album, proves that she's not just a one-hit wonder. Nowadays, Mariah's sales rise during the holiday season the most because of her hit single. It's actually become a meme on Twitter. Fans will either panic on the 1st of November because Mariah has breached containment, or someone calls for the R&B artist to begin her defrosting. No matter how she gains popularity, we do know that some of her songs still hit all the right spots over 2 decades later. Following up with the late Whitney Houston at number 8. Nicknamed The Voice because of her flawless vocals, Whitney Houston was one of the best artists of our time. Once again, she was mostly active during the 80s and 90s, where her self-titled album from 1985 is her best-selling one. Speaking of sales, she's a few million higher than Mariah Carey, so it's a close call. But Houston's most popular single isn't a holiday-themed one. I Will Always Love You was originally recorded by Dolly Parton, but Whitney did so well, people mistake it for her own song. All I Want for Christmas Is You doesn't have the same feel to it when you're not sipping on some hot cocoa by the fireplace. But in the end, we're not here to put 2 music icons against each other. Whitney Houston's legacy lives on with her amazing discography that's still played to this day. Now for number 7, where Taylor Swift is breaking new records. After her latest Midnights album, the country and pop music star has been reaching new heights and destroying records. With her 10th studio album, Swift has become the first artist in history to claim all top 10 spots on the Billboard Hot 100 in a single frame. Her album, titled 1989, sold over 130 million units alone, totaling up to around 212 million units sold. Fans just can't get enough of Taylor because social media has been flooded with her new songs and lyrics. Despite her beef with Kanye West and being known as the artist who can't get over her exes, Swift appeals to a wide audience with her relatable songwriting. Haters will keep on discussing the artist, but with lyrics like Darling, I'm a Nightmare Dressed Like a Daydream from her hit song Blank Space, Taylor Swift will go down as one of the greatest musicians of all time. And to the Swift haters and Kanye supporters watching this, what new controversy has your favorite rapper come up with this time? It's a new one every week. Coming up with Slim Shady at number 6. Marshall Mathers, formerly known as Eminem, has defined the rap genre to what it truly is. With his fast-paced flow, catchy rhymes, and phenomenal lyricism, the rap god has earned a total of around 227 million units sold. Though he was at his prime in the early 2000s with his sensational album titled the Marshall Mathers LP, it looks like he's just having fun with his recent work and dissing other rappers. Music to be Murdered By and Curtain Call 2 don't really slap as hard as his earlier work, but the artist just wants to flex his impeccable talent. Just listen to Godzilla that features Juice WRLD. You'll definitely strain your jaw if you're trying to keep up with the lyrics. But his best-selling single isn't a solo song, where he's spitting bars after bars. It's actually featured with our 5th artist on the list. Moving on to the top 5 of the list, R&B sensation Rihanna is one of the fastest rising stars of this generation. She ruled the early 2010s with her iconic songs like Umbrella, Please Don't Stop the Music, and more. She hasn't really been active ever since her 2016 album, Anti. Her best best-selling songs are mostly featured with Calvin Harris and Eminem, with songs like We Found Love and Love the Way You Lie. But her best-selling song featuring Drake is Work, which can get anyone up and dancing. With around 215 million units sold, the CEO of Fenty Beauty still rocks the charts with her music. But we think some of these numbers may drop due to her recent association with Johnny Depp. With the allegations of domestic abuse against Amber Heard, Rihanna somehow got involved and invited Depp to one of her Fenty events, giving him a spotlight of his own. Her recent tracks are part of the new Marvel Black Panther sequel soundtrack, and Riri has even teased some new music. Let's talk about number 4 and the man behind Rocket Man. Most iconic for his fancy shades and undeniably good fashion sense, Elton John sits 4th on the list with 305 million units sold. His best-selling album is a culmination of his greatest tracks called Greatest Hits, released in 1974, which spans between 1970 and 1974. 10 of his most popular songs like Rocket Man and Honky Cat rest on this album, but his best-selling song wasn't released till 1997, called Candle in the Wind. Some of these units were sold after the 2019 biopic Rocket Man, starring Taron Egerton, and Elton himself praised the actor for his portrayal. Now, the artist collaborates with recent pop musicians like Rina Sawayama. Now for the Queen of Pop at the top 3. Almost everyone on this earth is aware of how spectacular Madonna is. With a name like that, she's as great as Beyonce. The pop artist has sold around 340 million units, with her 1990 The Immaculate Collection being her most popular one. She's probably the best-selling female solo artist of all time, and has managed to stay relevant for 4 decades. If Madonna is the Queen of Pop, wait till you see who's next on our list. Following up with the King of Pop at number 2, Michael Jackson is a man who needs no introduction. Seriously, if you don't know who he is, you've either been living under a rock for the past 20 years, or have just been born. Thriller, both a song and an album, is one of his best-selling recordings ever, but Billie Jean takes the lead as the best-selling single, with around 1 billion, yes, 1 billion. The King of Pop could have been even more successful if it wasn't for his untimely death in 2009. Starting off as a band called Jackson 5, he became one of the most significant figures in culture in the 20th century. Wrapping up with number 1 on the list, Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, is one of the most famous musicians in history. He's so iconic, you can instantly recognize him when characters in random movies and shows have slicked back hair, black shades, collars up, and a funky posture. Being this popular comes with its quirks, of course. The Falling in Love artist had over 3 billion units sold. You heard that right. 3 billion. These numbers are probably skyrocketing after the latest biopic starring Austin Butler and Tom Hanks, titled Elvis. This just goes to show how these types of films can help a lot when it comes to an artist's success. If you didn't know who Presley was before the movie, we're sure you do now. Once again, these lists can change every now and then. We're pretty sure we missed out on the Beatles, but hey, we're here to deliver a list, not calculate everyone's finances. And that's all the time we have for this video. Who is your favorite best-selling artist? Let us know in the comments below. As always, leave a like and hit that subscribe button to see more of our content. See you in the next one.